Hello, friends. This is Dave Hurwitz, executive editor at ClassicsToday.com, here with reference recordings. And today we're talking about Mahler-Lieder, Mahler songs, and particularly his little song cycles, the short, beautiful Songs of a Wayfarer, Kindertotenlieder, and the Rückert-Lieder, which are not actually a cycle per se, but which were orchestrated, well, he orchestrated 4 out of 5. And then the 5th was orchestrated by like some publishing hack. Nicely enough, it's okay. Liebst du um Schönheit. Some people only perform the ones that Mahler actually orchestrated, and they leave out the other one. But of all the albums of Mahler song cycles in a clump, as we can talk about individual recordings of the individual ones, but we really should take them together. The album, which is the reference recording, easily for hundreds of thousands of years has been and remains Janet Baker and John Barbirolli on EMI, now Warner. I'll say Warner here instead of EMI. And they are, wow, juicy, super terrific. Amazing. You know, Janet Baker was, without question, one of the great leader singers, and one of the most intelligent, dedicated leader singers, and a fabulous Mahler singer particularly. And what she really excelled at was what the Germans call Innigkeit. Mahler songs are full of Innigkeit. That means inwardness. Everyone tells us that the term is not really translatable into any other language, and maybe it isn't. I mean, I grant that it may not be, but I think inwardness is a pretty good translation for what it is. It's this sense of oh, you just can't translate it. What does inwardness mean? I don't know. It's innigkeitosity, if you want to call it something like that. This idea of being completely subsumed into the music and the words, and its poetry, its stillness, its transcendental state of being. It's got all those things. And the song in question, well, really we're talking about the Rückert-Lieder, which are exquisite poems, beautiful poems, and 2 of them in particular, Mitternacht, at midnight, which has amazing orchestration. It's scored for winds, harps, and piano, including an oboe d'amore, and I think lower strings somewhere in the bottom there. But basically, that's what it is. It's this giant wind ensemble, and it's a beautiful, beautiful song about a meditation on, what the poet encountered, thought of at midnight, and, being confronted with the big questions of life and the universe, and finally placing his it's a man who's singing his fate into the hands of God at the end. And boy, if that isn't transcendental, I don't know what is. And I'll never forget that amazing performance, which I know some of you saw, at Carnegie Hall, when Leonard Bernstein did the Rückert-Lieder with Thomas Hampson, who recorded it with him, actually. And they're so-so. But they did that song, and they had a ringer playing the piano. And when Bernstein started, there's a huge time signature change for the final chorale. It goes into like 3-2, which you conduct, in large gestures, let us just say. And the piano guy read it wrong, and he was twice as fast as the rest of the orchestra. And as the singer goes, Du hältst die Wacht, and the timpani coming, wonk, and the piano going, with the harps, they're together, and then a big glissando, whoop. So the harps are doing their thing, and the piano's going, whap, twice as fast as he should have. Oh, it was so embarrassing. And Bernstein left the stage, and he was ready to grab the pianist and hit him. I mean, he went like this as he walked by the pianist. It was very funny. Anyway, that has nothing to do with this, but it's a great story. This is amazingly beautiful. And the big Innigkeit song, which gives this album so much of its reference quality, is Ich bin der Welt abhanden gekommen. I have lost track of the world, which is the very definition of Innigkeit. When you simply exist, it says, I live alone in my song. In meinem Lied. I mean, it's the most beautiful song in the world. It's unbelievably, gloriously wonderful. And Janet Baker is just communing with her inner spirit as she sings it. Now, the rest, of course, you've got the Kindertotenlieder, which are wonderfully sad, elegiac songs, beautiful, touching, and sensitive, and they're exquisitely performed here. And so are the songs of a Wayfarer, which are young and fresh and jolly, and except for the last one, where the poet lies, goes to bed under a linden tree, and also loses track of the world and communes with his inner being. So if you're looking for inner being, and we all are looking for inner being, Janet Baker is your inner being songstress, whatever. She's really inner. And it's just beautiful. And Barbirolli is a wonderful, wonderful, sensitive accompanist who is equally into the music. He really is. He's got the Halle Orchestra in most of these things, playing extremely well. I mean, for Halle, they sound really, really good. And he's got the new Philharmonia for the Rückert-Lieder. So you're in great shape for these pieces. You really are. One of the great song recitals that has ever been recorded. And it's just, it hasn't dated a bit. It hasn't worn. It wears its years lightly. Let me put it to you that way. And so if you're looking for a basic collection of the major Mahler Lieder, you can't do better than this. You really can't. I mean, you should have versions of these songs sung by male singers as well, because they really were written for male singers. But if female singers seem to have made them their own. And good for them. Yay. That's fine with me. When the singing is this good, there's nothing to complain about. My goodness, it's a gorgeous record. So that is the reference recording for the Mahler song cycles. It's your basic one. And, you won't see reviews of new or other versions without this one being mentioned as the reference. I can pretty much guarantee that. The world agrees. Trust me on this one. So keep on listening, friends. Thanks for joining me. Take care.